Boom, baby. All right. So today, this podcast, what I'm going to talk about is how this is literally how I made 200K in 10 months with zero investment. What I'll do is I'll kind of break down how I took and I did it. The thing I want you to know is that it's possible. You could literally go from nothing to something that quickly. When I first started out doing this, I mentioned I was doing my vegan boss lady with my wife. And well, actually before that, I actually had this really great business and I was making great money. If you ever read the book by Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Work Week, that's basically what I had. It was about a 4-hour work week, but I was making really good money. And then all of a sudden one day, everything changed. All of a sudden there was a shift in clients, the way that business was interacting. And actually the truth is I created too much sales and then we couldn't actually fulfill on the quality. And then we lost all our clients. So anyway, that's how it went from making really good money to absolutely nothing overnight. And so that's when I started the Vegan Boss Lady. And the big thing that finally turned things around for us, because in 12 months, I basically had made only $18,000 doing Vegan Boss Lady, largely because we just didn't know how to execute that business and create this online business to scale fast enough. And so I ended up having to find a new way to be able to scale up and do this kind of like a rags to riches transformation to figure out how to remonetize my checking account stuff. And so the very first thing that I did is I went and found a high ticket item, meaning that a product that I could take and sell that actually had enough margin in it that I could actually get compensated well for it. And so literally I went and found a high ticket product. And so in this particular case, my high ticket product was solar systems. The one thing that, I'll give you the breakdown of like 3 secrets that I took and used that actually helped me to be successful at it. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever read this book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Excellent book. Or if you've ever read this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Like Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie is the richest man of his time. He commissioned Napoleon Hill to go out and to interview the most successful men of his time, and then basically to compile it into a book so that the world, so to speak, had a philosophy on how to be successful. And he literally, what he did is he gone in and he created a recipe book on this is what you can do and this is how you do it. Well, not exactly how you do it, but the traits and characteristics and stuff that people who were highly successful had. And he literally broke down the 17 things that these people had that made them highly successful. And today what I'll do is I'll break down like 3 secrets that'll literally show you how I took what I've learned from this book, what I've learned from Richest Man in Babylon, and then Think and Grow Rich, and how I took and implemented it to be able to turn my economics around like almost immediately. Okay. The first thing, so secret number 1 is you've got to find like a high ticket product that you can take and sell. Get a product that when you take and cause a transaction to take place, you actually make a decent commission on it. And the reason I took and I selected solar, in case you're interested, is I can go out and I can find people that are interested in solar, get them set up on solar. But the thing that I don't like to do is I don't like the operations. I don't like doing the fulfillment. And I've always taken and I've always looked for opportunities to find people who actually enjoy that type of work, so that they can then be responsible for fulfillment. And so in this case, I went and partnered up with a solar company that's the wholesale, and it's the wholesale company, and it's the distributor in Utah where I work and where I live. And what I did is I've allowed myself to become the low cost provider to be able to provide products at wholesale prices. And I used that strategic advantage to be able to create, it's like a high ticket product in the sense that I put solar system on somebody's house. It depends on, how much solar that they need. But if you wanted to pick an average, my average is probably somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 is about what the solar systems go for. Okay. But to create a strategic advantage, I found a high ticket product. I found out what would be my strategic advantage in the sense that I partnered with a wholesale company. And then I could go out into the marketplace and to be able to start causing sales to take place. And so there you go. Secret number 1 is pick a high ticket product that's got a decent enough margin on it so that your effort can be rewarded for doing it. Okay, secret number 2. I don't know if you've ever read this book called Influence. Okay, you've got Influence by Robert B. Cialdini. Okay, and then he wrote another one called Persuasion. Okay, there is literally a science to be able to cause sales to take place. And I remember when I first started out, I was helping my wife when she was doing sales of, I don't know, a couple weight loss type things and stuff. And she did Mary Kay. And I always tried to find a way to help her because I liked supporting her. And the thing I ended up discovering is not one person that I talked to, spoke to, or anything of that nature was even remotely interested in what I was talking about. I don't know if you've seen that or experienced that you go out and literally start talking to people and nobody could care less about what you're talking about. And it's about like making a cake. Like if you want to make a cake, right? Would you just go up to your pantry, grab a whole bunch of junk and then just pile it in a bowl and then say, boom, there's my ingredients, and then maybe put it in the oven or maybe throw it on the sidewalk and then hope that you come back and see a cake, right? It doesn't work that way. And that's the mistake. That's the mistake that I had been making for years, and that's a mistake that I see a lot of people doing. In fact, when I go sell solar, there's guys that are all around me that make like nothing. Okay, so I knocked down $200,000 in 10 months, and then they knocked down zero, like almost nothing. And the thought in their mind is like, why is it that I can't cause people to be interested or cause people to buy it? And I look at it and I'm like, that's because you don't understand the recipe. Like there's a systematic methodology to be able to cause people to take them to be influenced, to being able to make sales. Like things that to show you a couple examples, like social proof. People want evidence that other people are taking to do it. Like it's like a shortcut, it's a hack, it's a cognitive bias that we have where we stepped into an environment and we're not sure quite the right way how to behave. And part of the way we decide that we know how to behave is by looking around and seeing how other people are behaving. And once we understand that, then we can say that this is how I've behaved. So like if you went into like a funeral, like would you necessarily see that as a place where you do like a rock band and everybody's up and jumping up and down and being all crazy, right? Like most of the time when you go to funerals, it's not that case. Everybody seems to think there's maybe the right sentiment is to wear black or whatever, you know? But if you go to a wedding, they're probably going to have some sort of white wedding dress, okay? And people kind of understand that, and people know how to associate and be around that. But you wouldn't go to that event probably wearing all black. Like it's not a funeral. This is a marriage, and so people will understand how to behave in an environment based on social proof, and so like people will use that. One of the things you'll discover is people tend to delay and put off making a decision for an indefinite amount of time if they don't feel some sort of urgency and scarcity. Like you could have, like on your shelf, you could have like 10 cookies, right? Or maybe it's cartons and cartons of cookies, right? And you go look in the pantry and you're like, oh, there's lots of cookies. I'm not too worried about it. And so then you can pass on it. But if you go in there and you pop open the pantry and then you see there's only one cookie left and there's 10 people in your family, you're going to be like, well, I want a cookie. I want to make sure I get one. So then you take it, right? That right there is scarcity. And there's triggers like this. There's a whole bunch of them. In fact, if you read this book, Influence and Persuasion, you'll end up discovering there's all kinds of elements that we have got pre-programmed into our mind that allows us to be able to take hacks and shortcuts to be able to make decisions. And once you understand I guess you can say it's methodologies, the science of being able to make sales, then you follow a methodology like that. And it's literally like making a cake. I do this, I do this, I do this. I know the sequence of the ingredients I put in. I know the order, I know the quantity, I know the amount. And then I know what temperature to put it in the oven, and I know what temperature to bake it at. And once you got that science and that sequence down, now you can influence. Now you can take and cause sales to take place, okay? So now you might be saying, all right, now that's secret number 2 is knowing the science of how to influence people. Okay, secret number 3, you don't actually need money to start a business. Like a lot of these opportunities require you to have, all this money to put down on it to be able to buy into it or to start a business or start creating all this stuff. Like the reality is you don't, okay? At the time, I was not looking for an opportunity that would require a significant investment of my money, because I had invested a lot of money and time into building this online business. What I was looking for is an opportunity where I could literally step in and start trickling out and causing sales to start taking immediately and creating cash flow. And so in this case, I wasn't looking to use my money. Now money is required, but I wasn't looking to use my money. When I found the wholesaler, okay, they already have hardware. They already have solar panels. They already have engineering. They already have like a permitting team. They've got all of the resources already lined up in place to be able to fulfill on sales. Okay. And so I didn't have to create that. The machine was already there. It was well oiled. It was an excellent machine. All I had to do is figure out how to tap into the machine and allow the machine to start spinning out gold. And literally that's what I ended up doing. And so that's secret number 3 is you don't need money to start a business. What you need to do is be able to think and to position yourself in the right spot so that you can take advantage of opportunities that are already right there. Like there's opportunities surrounding you right here, right now. And if you just step back and pause and look for these opportunities, then you can start seeing them. And once you see them, then you can start executing on them and then start turning it into gold. So like one of the things I'm doing now is, now that I took and I went and implemented, like secret number 3 is I didn't start my business. I didn't stick any money into it. Now this thing is starting to churn out money. Now I'm starting to look at other opportunities, like what are opportunities I can do that I can start taking this extra cash flow that I've got coming in and start putting it into profitable adventures that would benefit me and my family. And so anyway, that is the 3 things I was going to share with you today on Rags to Riches transformation. Just in case you missed it, I will give a quick breakdown again. Okay. So this is what I said is this is how I made $200,000 in 10 months with 0 investment. So secret number 1 is I found a high ticket item. Secret number 2 is I discovered and I learned the science of selling. And then secret number 3 is I went and found an opportunity that required 0 upfront investment on my part that allowed me to get into the game. And once I got into the game, I started spinning gold. Anyway, so hope you enjoy that on this Rags to Riches transformation. And let's go do some good. Let's figure out how to start growing some assets and making some money without having to stick a ton of money into it. Yeah.